Hey everyone, Mystical Mark here. So this will be your weekly astrology forecast for the week of November 3rd to the 9th of 2024. Before we get into the charts for this week, if you are looking to get a reading with me, you can head on over to my Etsy shop. The link is in the description below. It is in my bio if you are on TikTok. If you're looking to support me in any other way, you can head on over to my Ko-Fi. It's similar to Patreon. Memberships start as low as $1 a month and involves basically seeing these videos before they're released on either TikTok or YouTube. So again, that link is in the description below and in my bio if you're on TikTok. And of course, there's a Discord server as well if you're wanting to join that. Again, link in the description, in my bio if you're on TikTok. On TikTok, though, you will have to head to my link tree in order to get that. All right, and of course, the easiest and always most appreciated way to help me is, of course, if you do like this video, hit that like button, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications if you want more, and if you're on TikTok, hit that follow button. Please and thank you. It is always much, much appreciated. All right. Okay, so we can head into the charts now. Before we do that again, though, I just want to mention, I'm sorry there was no video for last week. I did record one. I wasn't having a very good day. I was very tired, very stressed, and the energy was kind of low. I did end up recording it. However, the audio stopped working about a quarter of the way through. So for most of the video, there was no audio. So you could see the chart, but you'd have no idea what the hell I was saying. So I just said, screw this. I'm not doing it again. And I just left it. So sorry for that. But yeah. Anyways, as we head into this week, we did have the new moon in Scorpio last week. So we're out of eclipse season. That is now done. We're in a new lunar month, new energy. So yeah. All right. Let's just get into it for this week here. Let me go to the chart. Okay, so for this week, we're going to start off on Sunday, November 3rd. On this day, we're going to have Mars now coming into Leo. We're also going to have Juno entering into Scorpio, and then there's other aspects happening, but let's start off with those two here. We have Mars here at the bottom of the chart. You can see now it's 0 degrees of Leo. Ingress Leo on Sunday here. So Mars, one thing I do want to mention is in its shadow period. So Mars will be going retrograde. Let me pull up, see if I can see the exact date here. Event Navigator, direction changes. So December 6th, Mars will be going retrograde in Leo. So, and Mars will retrograde back into Cancer as well. All right. So just be mindful of maybe what kind of comes up now during these times as we deal with this Mars type energy, which can deal with, of course, anger, assertiveness. A lot of it is also self-identity. Mars rules Aries. It's also the one of the rulers of Scorpio, the ancient ruler of Scorpio, the modern ruler of Scorpio is, of course, Pluto, which Mars is also in exact opposition to on this day before Mars moves into Leo, interestingly enough. So there's a very strong, powerful energy really kind of coming through here, maybe on Sunday. One thing I do want to say though, Mars, like I said, does rule Aries, and we do have the North Node as well as Chiron here on Aries. So this could be reflective as well of a lot of healing, self-healing that needs to occur, as well as maybe healing of assertiveness, healing of self-wounds, our identity, those types of things. With Mars and Leo, that can do with our expression, the desire to express ourselves, as well as healing that. With Chiron retrograde, these are old things maybe that we need to heal that have kind of gotten in the way of those kinds of things. With the North Node here, we want to move forward into a new direction regarding our identity, ourself, and that kind of stuff. Aries is also a cardinal sign, so it's just moving forward, taking action to move forward, right? And with Mars and Leo, this can be a very expressive energy, taking action in a very expressive way, in a very masculine way. These are very masculine signs, a very masculine energy. So we're moving from Mars in Cancer, which Cancer is more of a bit more of an introverted, a feminine energy. And Leo is a very expressive energy. You have to remember the Sun rules Leo. What's interesting as well as the ruler of Leo, the Sun is in Scorpio, one of Mars's signs, if you want to consider Mars as, ancient rulership there. So this energy is kind of tying together when that Mars opposition to Pluto. So there's this very powerful and also expressive, and I want to say transformative is another word that's coming through here, shift, with this Mars coming into Leo here. And pay attention to that as well as whatever comes up, as that's going to be reflected back again as well during the Mars retrograde. All right. So we're also going to have Juno coming into Scorpio today. So we can see here Juno is 0 degrees of Scorpio. So we had Juno in Libra. Of course, Juno deals with partnerships. That can be relationships, but it's any kind of really committed partnership. So it can be any kind of like contractual partnership, which can be marriages. It can be not just marriages. It could be like a common law. It could be any type of committed partnership, right? And that can also include business contracts and business partnerships as well. Coming into the sign of Scorpio, we're dealing a lot with maybe some transformation, maybe dealing with truths in these partnerships, but I feel it's very transformation. There could be a strong sexual aspect to this as well. If it's I wanted to say if it's like a romantic partnership, however, sex can happen in all kinds of partnerships, so let's just leave it at that, okay? So that could be something, and there's also maybe something coming out in that sense. Anyway, but I feel like the sexual aspect was something that was kind of coming through previously before I started doing this, but also what's coming through now is the transformational aspect of these partnerships and these contracts, and maybe getting to the root of some things. Because I have mentioned Juno, I think in the past few videos that I have done, finding balance, there's strong aspects to that, dealing with these partnerships and relationships. Of course, Juno previously was in Libra, where we had the South Node here as well, dealing with that Venus, more really relationship focused, whereas that still is here to an extent due to those committed partnerships, contracts, and relationships. However, I think there's more of an emphasis now on the general themes of Juno versus highlighting more of that strong relationship aspect with Juno being in Libra, and also that justice and balance aspect that is there, but now we're heading into a transformational part. So this could be you maybe have felt out of balance within whatever those partnerships were, and we're looking for that aspect of balance and justice, and now that transformation is needing to occur here with Juno now in Scorpio, and getting to the root of things, getting to the bottom of the things as that begins to transform. All right. Okay, so that's it for the actual zodiac sign transits for that day. Let's take a look at the aspects. So as I mentioned previously, we're going on with the slow down, catch up with my brain. Okay, Mars opposition Pluto is what I was going to say, is the first aspect here that we'll have a look at. All right, so this could, again, I feel like intense transformative energy is what kind of this is getting at. Of course, Mars in Cancer, Pluto in Capricorn. So again, there's I feel like there's a taking action here towards an aspect of transformation, but there's a strong feminine energy. I think I mentioned this in my last video, so I didn't do it last week, it's the one prior. But regarding I'm burping there, pay attention to this, there's a strong feminine energy coming through. Maybe watch that last video and see there's some type of a strong feminine energy coming through here, leading to some type of aspect of transformation. This could deal with these, I feel like it's like structures, control, like old heavy things that still need that transformation. And again, this is Pluto in Capricorn. It's the nail in the coffin of the old world, like I said, being at that last degree of Capricorn. I believe November 19th is when Pluto will move forward back into Aquarius, because Pluto retrograded into Capricorn here, so we'll move back into Aquarius, and then we'll be there for the next 20 years. All right, so this is kind of the last aspect of that. So I feel like there's a strong feminine energy really, really kind of coming through here, and a transformation, obviously transformational type of energy, especially as Mars is going to head into Leo, like I said, and the ruler of Leo, the sun, is in Scorpio. So like I said before, there's a transformational aspect here. We are in Scorpio season. This can be an intense time. Scorpio is always intense, transformational, getting to the root, the bottom of things. Like I said before with Juno, there's an aspect of sexuality that can exist there as well. That came up in another video too, when I was talking about Scorpio season. So yeah, interesting. We have Eros in Scorpio as well. Anyway, that's regarding the sex and sexuality stuff. Okay, so yeah, I feel like there's strong feminine energy and transformative energy really coming through with that. Some may feel like this is a bit like malefic, or it's like it can feel very negative, but there's a transformation, there's a balance that needs to occur here with in terms of like this action stuff and transformation, and of course with this Mars stuff in Aries dealing with that Chiron wound and that North Node. We're wanting to move forward and heal in that sense and really transform and change and take action towards that as well. There could be anger stuff coming up. It could be a bit triggering too in that sense as well. Right, so it's that aspect of transformation, bringing to light all of that. All of what I said previously in the day is fully relevant there. Okay, then we're going to have Venus in trine to Chiron as well on this day. So again, like I said, bringing up, there could be aspects of, that triggering that is coming up here. As well, Venus will be in opposition to Jupiter. So Jupiter here in Gemini retrograde, there's an aspect of communication, aspect of awareness, all right? And with Venus here, this is Jupiter expands whatever it touches. It's expanding on these Venus-related things, which again is this Libran and Taurus energy. Of course, in Libra, we have the South Node, and we also have Uranus and Taurus. This is dealing with letting go and change, right? And with Venus and Sagittarius wanting to expand. Of course, Venus is in Jupiter's sign of Sagittarius, so there is this idea of expansion here surrounding these Venusian themes. This could result in an aspect of maybe letting go. I'm being drawn to this quintile here to the South Node. So there could be some creative behind the scenes stuff going on regarding this South Node in Libra, maybe even releasing aspects of codependency. Something surrounding that South Node in Libra, unjust things, all of that. But this is very strong, this feminine type of energy, behind the scenes type of energy that exists here. That could be either you're working on it behind the scenes, or maybe it's being expanded and you're seeing that, right? But this is can kind of go either way in that sense. I'm seeing also here like this triseptile to Uranus, so it's almost like there's a fated aspect of change. But again, when it comes to fate is like a manifestation of a desire that seems as like fate. I talk about this as astrology is like an energetic imprint, or not an, well, kind of, yeah. It's like an energetic blueprint, let's say that, energetic blueprint. And it's conducive to certain things occurring within those energetic cycles. So when you think of manifestation, or if you ever watch like Abraham Hicks, where she talks about like in your vibrational escrow or in your vortex, what's coming out, well, what's sitting there might be waiting for the right time to come into manifestation. And that's kind of what that fated stuff is, right? We create our own fate because we have free will. We chose to be the person that we are sitting here today, right? Of course, there's circumstances in life that maybe we didn't see coming before we incarnated here, but the big things that we wanted in our life, chances are we wanted those already before we were coming here. And there's certain things that we create within this life, and there's certain things that we're already wanting to become manifest before we even incarnated here, and that's dealing with your birth chart and the astrology and all of that. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about when I say that. However, septiles can also be something coming through almost from like another realm, almost out of nowhere. It's that idea of fate, right? But it's almost like maybe somebody else knew what was going on and then had your back the whole time. Even though you didn't know. And it's that stuff, that's behind the scenes stuff coming through. There's a fated aspect coming through. And again, this could have been predestined, predetermined stuff that you already wanted manifest in some way maybe. But again, with this triseptile to Uranus, it's dealing with those aspects of change, and being in Taurus, these are like the stubborn changes. These are like the changes that you need to make, seeing the value in change, really pushing for that. And with Uranus retrograde, this is stuff that we've already known, gone over before, that needs to go over again, and this is coming up again, and maybe there's this aspect of whatever is being manifest or something coming through now on this day, especially with Jupiter here expanding this area. There's like this big expansion of whatever this Venus stuff is. Of course, in Taurus, that can relate to value, self-worth, money. Libra can be relationships, balance, justice, all of those things. Those themes are all still valid here. But these minor aspects of that Venus are highlighting those two things in Venus's sign that are kind of behind the scenes or maybe faded in manifestations of stuff possibly coming through here in that sense as well. With that opposition to Jupiter, like I said, expanding on that as well, bringing it through and bringing it to awareness in Gemini. There could be communication or an awareness kind of coming through, and a mental awareness coming through in that sense. All right, and with Venus trine Chiron, this can deal a lot with our triggers, our wounds, where we've been hurt, where we've been put upon, and of course healing ourselves, healing this aspect of self-identity, those kinds of things. Of course, a trine is a positive transit. When we're dealing with Chiron, though, it could feel triggering, it could feel whatever, but what I'm kind of getting is healing. We're healing that, and so the trine it's a positive transit, but also with Chiron, it's just we're healing it, right? And we're also dealing with benefic planets here in terms of, Venus and Jupiter, even though Jupiter is retrograde, Venus and Jupiter. So there's something manifesting, maybe something really coming through here to expand in these areas. This could deal with letting go, but whatever that is ultimately healing, an aspect of healing maybe in some way. Doesn't necessarily mean that someone's going to be let go over something, but there's an expansion here that is occurring within these Venus themes that needs to help with whatever that healing is. Maybe it is I won't go there. Okay, there's also this biseptile here to the North Node. So again, this is about moving in that new direction and ultimately healing in that sense as well. So again, something could be manifest to move forward in a new direction in that sense too. So just being aware of that, right? And of course, the other thing on this day will be the Sun here in biquintile to the North Node. So again, there's this transformational aspect in Scorpio here, Sun in Scorpio, like I said, illuminating these scorpionic themes. And of course, with this biquintile, this is very strong feminine energy, maybe even behind the scenes type of energy. Excuse me, that's really coming through. And I was going to say, when dealing with aspects of manifestation, and this coming through, really moving in a new direction. So maybe there's behind the scenes stuff that's working on to really push us forward. Or it's something that has been worked on behind the scenes. This is very creative type stuff. So this is very strong, very feminine, very creative when it's coming through in this way, right? And it can feel faded, but like I said, that's just a manifestation. Okay, I think that's all I really want to say about that. Just to mention, North Node Aries obviously has to do with the self. Scorpio, Aries, dealing with that Mars stuff. Mars now in Leo. This is very illuminating, bringing to the surface, and it's almost like this mix of like this masculine and feminine now, and taking action to kind of really push forward. Almost like that manifestation coming through. I don't know why I keep coming back to that, but that's just, I guess somebody maybe needs to hear that, whoever is watching this. So, all right, let's move on to Tuesday now here. So on Tuesday, November 4th, we're going to have the Sun here in sesqui-square to Neptune. And also Sun trine Saturn. Okay, so with this sesqui-square here to Neptune, again, when we're dealing with Scorpio and Pisces energy, Pisces can deal with the fog, behind the scenes type of stuff. It's also very intuitive. It's almost like in order to see behind the fog, to see behind the scenes, to trust in that. It's like spiritual trust. It's trusting in your intuition. If I can speak, your intuition, trusting in that kind of thing. Scorpio gets to the bottom of the things, can see the truth of things. It can also be very psychic. It's when the veil is thin with that Scorpio energy. So that's kind of what we're dealing with here, is really seeing the truth, seeing behind the scenes of certain things. However, with this sesqui-square, it's like a super square. It's like a really strong push for resolution to something, right? There's a strong transformational and almost like seeing through something that is coming through here regarding like deceptiveness, deception, the fog, intuition. I don't know, something pinged when I said like deception or whatever. I don't know if anybody heard that. Maybe it's just something in the room. I don't know. And maybe there's something strongly coming through here in some way. I'm not really too sure. But this is very strong, feminine. There's a push for like some kind of transformation. And there's something unseen going on here regarding this. Okay, and this could be something coming out or simply something behind the scenes working through this. I'm being drawn back to the fact that the sun here rules Leo. Mars is now in Leo. Mars is also a co-ruler of Scorpio. And so there could be something illuminating now with Mars in Leo with this sesqui-square type energy regarding this Sun sesqui-square Neptune. So it could be something illuminating that has been hidden, especially since Neptune is retrograde. This could be something that has been hidden from the past or hidden previously that is now coming up. And with the sesqui-square, it can't be like, this is something like that can't be swept under the rug any longer. It's really bringing into awareness something here. Also being drawn to the quintile here to Pluto as well. Again, Scorpio's modern ruler, dealing with this aspects of transformation and change, along with these, with like the foundational things of Capricorn, structure, control, all those things that need to be transformed. That final nail in the coffin, that final transformation that needs to occur before Pluto moves into Aquarius. So there's something hidden here. There's something, this could be hidden surrounding these aspects of transformation, as in something's happening behind the scenes that has maybe been a plan for a long time. And now, because it's retrograde, it's kind of coming up and it's really pushing with the sun in Scorpio to be illuminated and focused on. And like, that's something else that was kind of coming through too here regarding this, because this quintile is like, it's that strong feminine behind the scenes type of energy that is coming through. Pisces can be very hidden behind the scenes. Scorpio can be revealing of that, bringing that up. Again, manifestation of that almost. Scorpio is more of like the desire when it comes to manifestation though. So, but that could be relating to what all of this is too, in a way. And yeah, illuminating and focusing on that and taking action on that and bringing that to the surface in that sense as well. Sun trine Saturn. Saturn is in Pisces. Again, if you've watched me, I consider Saturn in Pisces the dissolution of that malefic energy. Right? So it becomes malleable in that sense. I also wanted to think, something that came up with me the other day is Saturn also teaches through restriction. Pisces is that compassionate energy. And so with Saturn here, it could be that restriction of that compassion, but that is the lesson. And that's where you need to expand, is within compassion. So, I don't know, interesting that that's coming up. That is a trine though, however. Sun is in Scorpio and we're dealing with Saturn. So that may not really feel the best. There could be, like I said, some kind of restrictive stuff coming through here with Scorpio regarding an aspect of transformation. Maybe we do need to be more compassionate. Maybe that relates to that dissolving of that malefic energy, as in maybe we do need to be more compassionate, but there's something there's a positive thing here with this trine. It may not feel very positive when we're going through it, when we're dealing with the sun in Scorpio and dealing with the energy of Saturn, but there's likely a positive transformation and dissolution to whatever this is, and that could relate to whatever this is, whatever's hidden here, and whatever manifestation or faded stuff seems to be coming through, whether that's faded from our higher selves, faded from source, faded from whatever's in our fucking vibrational escrow is coming through, something like along those lines. Okay, so that's Monday. Let's move on to Tuesday here, November 5th. All right, so on this day, we're going to have the sun here in Scorpio in biquintile to Jupiter in Gemini. Okay, so sun in Scorpio, there's illumination of this transformative type of energy. Again, with this biquintile, there's some strong feminine energy, some creative energy working behind the scenes. Of course, Jupiter, with aspecting Jupiter here, Jupiter expands, whatever it touches. Pay attention to that. So Jupiter is expanding the sun in Scorpio, this aspect of transformation and illuminating that transformation. That's strongly what I feel, that's illuminating that transformation. I think the idea of transformation is kind of the theme with this, and Jupiter expanding that. However, this is like behind the scenes, but it almost seems like faded. Like there's some creative feminine force coming through here that is transforming this. And of course, remember, fate is just like a manifestation. Remember, there's an aspect of free will here, but there's something coming through with that in that sense in terms of this. And of course, Jupiter and Gemini, there's a communication, an aspect of communication and expansion of that in whatever way coming through here. Of course, Jupiter is retrograde, so this is dealing with stuff that has been going on already, gone on before. We're now going over this ground again, and it's expansion of whatever transformation of whatever that awareness is, of whatever's going on here. And there's something regarding behind the scenes stuff happening that's occurring to help with whatever this transformation is. All right, that's kind of what I'm getting with that on the 5th here on Tuesday. All right, let's move to the 6th on Wednesday. So we're going to have here on the 6th, there's going to be the Sun is going to be in semi-sextile to Black Moon Lilith in Libra. So again, with the semi-sextile, this can go one of two ways. This can either be good, or this can be bad. Okay? Or it can feel in one of those ways. Right? The good aspect of this is these two signs working together. Black Moon Lilith, obviously being where we've been outcast, and this could be in terms of relationships, aspects of justice, balance, those kinds of things. Sun in Scorpio, transformation, highlighting areas of transformation where we need to see the depths of those things, where we need to see to transform, ultimately to heal, to go through that stuff. That could ultimately be what that is, giving power to this Black Moon Lilith energy as well. Black Moon Lilith is very strong feminine energy. It's that I don't give a fuck type of feminine energy, and it's very powerful. Lilith is awesome. She's very badass. She's awesome. That's very awesome energy that this is, very strong feminine. And this could be outcast in terms of codependency, justice, those kinds of things. With this semi-sextile, this aspect of transformation, or whatever the Scorpio energy is highlighting here for us to look at, to transform, is ultimately helping with this in some way. Or vice versa. I wanted to say vice versa, or the Lilith energy could be using the Scorpio energy as like powerful transformation and very strong feminine type of stuff. And of course, Venus rules Libra, and Venus is here in Sagittarius, right? And I'm being drawn to this novile here as well, to the Sun in Scorpio with Venus. So a novile is what we're kind of learning or giving birth to in some way, and if it's the transformation and of course expansion of whatever these Libran stuff is. And of course with Lilith there, that's where we've been outcast, but we want to find appropriate justice and balance into that sense. Of course, this could be bringing and illuminating that for it to be ultimately transformed in some way. I don't know, this week seems really odd and weird. Being drawn to a lot of these minor aspects of like fate and learning and it's like really odd. It just seems odd to me. But yeah, something's going on with all of this. And I don't know, there's Sun here and it's triseptile to Chiron in Aries, so transformation and healing. There's this aspect of, I don't know why this is really strongly coming through here, but this aspect of transformation and healing. And interestingly, if I can talk again, the next aspect that I'm seeing on my list here is this Mercury in sesqui-square to Chiron, right? So Mercury in Sagittarius. So there's an expansion of this aspect of communication, right? And interest, and okay, we'll get into what's happening on the next day here, but Mercury is going to enter shadow the following day on the 7th. Okay, sesqui-square to Chiron. And of course, Mercury rules Gemini, and that's where Jupiter is. So Mercury is in Jupiter's sign, Jupiter's in Mercury's sign. So there's almost like a mutual reception type of energy happening here. Of course, you consider that to not be as prominent because Jupiter is retrograde. If you know astrology and thinking like, you know, sometimes that's what it is. If there's retrogrades or negative aspects, that the mutual reception may not be as positive or whatever. But these energies, I feel like they're still playing off each other here, regardless of that. Regardless of whether Jupiter is fucking retrograde or whatever, they're in each other's signs. This is an expansion emphasis on this energy, especially since, okay, I burped there. Pay attention to that. Whenever that usually happens, pay attention to that. So there's something coming through here, right? There's an expansion here, right? Jupiter, we're dealing a lot with the Jupiter and the Sagittarian type of energy. Very, very expansive. Like this isn't something that you can just constrain by some stupid little rules of, oh, it's retrograde, so it can't be mutually receptive or whatever. It's like we're dealing with fucking Jupiter and Sagittarius here. Anything's fucking possible, okay? So Mercury... Mercury in Sagittarius, Jupiter in Mercury sign of Gemini. Okay, there's kind of an expansion of this mercurial energy, of that awareness that is happening here. That's what I'm getting. There's more going on here than maybe what we realize. Of course, with Mercury in that sesqui-square to Chiron, this is dealing with our aspects of wounds, healing, ultimately healing a lot of stuff. I don't know why. Transformation and healing seems to be a big fucking thing this week. That seems to be the energy that's really coming through here. And of course, like I said, with Mercury in Sagittarius, there's an expansion of this. Maybe an expansion of the awareness. It could be with communication. It could be with the details, as Mercury rules Virgo as well. But with Jupiter in Gemini, there's like an awareness, a learning, an expansion of communication. This could be any kind of communication, whether it's written, digital, mental, talking, whatever, right? Like that. That's just the mercurial type of stuff. Thoughts, healing our minds in that way as well. With this sesqui-square to Chiron, this is regarding this aspect of self, our identity, those types of things. I've said it can deal with like assertiveness and the Mars type stuff too, but I feel like it's more around this aspect of self was what was originally coming through with that. And yeah, like I said, the sesqui-square, that minor aspect is like that super square. It's really pushing for resolution, something that can no longer be swept under the rug any longer, regarding our own personal wounds in some way, regarding our identity, independence, all of that. This could very well be very triggering and an expansion of some kind of awareness in this sense as well. Right? It's a very interesting week. I don't know. It's like this healing could either be like triggering or healing, or is both, or go like there's something weird. There's just something weird and hidden and some. I don't know. It just all this feels weird to me. That's all I'm gonna say. It just feels weird to me. And again, also speaking of Mercury, and go back to Mercury because Mercury is going to be trine the North Node here and then sextile the South Node. So again, there's an awareness here, and I'm feeling with this sesqui-square to Chiron, where we want to move forward in a new direction regarding independence, regarding, I wanted to say sovereignty. As Aries, the self, independence, sovereignty, and sextile to the South Node here, getting rid of these codependent aspects, being put upon, those kinds of things. These are positive aspects with the sextile and trine. There's an opportunity to release here and move forward in a new direction of sovereignty and independence, and with Mercury in this Sagittarian energy, expanding on the awareness of whatever this is, and ultimately, healing through Chiron here, these wounds. So again, pay attention to that, whatever is coming up there in that sense as well. All right, I think that's all I want to say for Wednesday. Let's move to Thursday. So Thursday the 7th, we're going to have Mercury enter shadow. All right, I believe, I don't know what the exact minute and degree is. I know it's on the 7th because I looked this up before. I wish I would remember exactly the time, but I'm sorry I don't have a time for you, but it happens on this day, okay? So Mercury is now in shadow. So at this point, pay attention to kind of whatever is going on now. So it's interesting, Mercury's in shadow and it just came off that sesqui-square to Chiron. I can see on my thing here, yeah, it's coming off near the end of the day, within whatever orb I have set. It's a fairly small orb, so you can consider it whether it's still there or not, whether it's going to, I would say that it's likely going to affect Mercury's shadow, but it's kind of right on the edge there. So however that's going to manifest and pan out for you. All right. Okay, so anyway, Mercury enters shadow. Interesting, I'm saying Mercury is square to building and square to Saturn. So, but this is very Jupiterian energy, okay? Jupiter is also the traditional ruler of Pisces. All right, so, and Mercury is in Jupiter sign. So we're dealing a lot with Jupiterian stuff here, expansion, and of course with Saturn retrograde, it's the dissolution of the malefic energy, but I almost want to say it's this expansion of this, of like this hidden stuff in some way. I don't know. That's dissolving that malefic energy in some way. I don't know. This week it's fucking weird. So it's just fucking weird. It just feels so weird. I don't know why. It just feels weird in that way. So whatever. Okay, I said what I said. All right. Okay. So yeah, Mercury entering shadow. Just pay attention to kind of what's coming up. Looks like Mercury is in a septile here to that Pluto. So again, there's some type of manifested fated transformation coming through here with this awareness. So even though Pluto is going to move into Aquarius on the 19th, I feel like this Mercury retrograde is still going to carry over some of... Okay, now I'm feeling not completely. It's like there's certain themes that yes, maybe, but I feel like it's not really quite fully related in that sense. I don't know. It just feels so... Okay. It's too weird, guys. We'll get into Mercury retrograde when it shows up, but like there's something where there's like, I don't know. This Mercury retrograde is in Sagittarius. There's like an expansion or a shift, maybe a shift or expansion of awareness that needs to occur, especially since Jupiter is also retrograde and in Gemini, Mercury sign, and are going to be in mutual reception. They're both going to be retrograde in each other's signs, so they'll both be retrograde and mutually receptive. Anyway, what I'm saying is that's a highlighting of that energy still, yet again. All right, so I feel like that mutual reception is still kind of active in that way. All right, so today we're going to have Venus in biquintile to Mars. So Venus in Sagittarius, Mars in Leo here. So they're both masculine fire signs. So we're dealing with kind of very fiery type of energy here, but this is also, like I said, the biquintiles, that behind the scenes type of energy that's coming through. Maybe we're wanting to take action to express in some way, but this is very like behind the scenes type stuff. But it's regarding our relationships. This could be stuff that maybe is coming out, that has happened behind the scenes that we've been working on, that is coming out, or we're taking action to work on whatever that expression is, to expand in whatever these Venus related themes are in a more positive way, right? Of course, that deals with these aspects of Libra and Taurus. Value in self-worth, relationships, money, balance, aspects of codependency. Of course, with Venus here, there is like this binovile here to the South Node. So maybe there's learning to expand and let go of old aspects in relationships of codependency and those types of things. There's also still this quintile here to Black Moon Lilith as well. So there's the strong hidden feminine energy that I feel like is also coming through with this Venus as well. But this Mars energy, it's like this masculine expression was what I was initially going to say. It's masculine expression, or this expressive of putting it out there, bringing it forward. It's like the feminine is almost more introvert. This isn't always, but like feminine, more introverted, masculine, kind of more extroverted. So it's like taking action to bring that feminine outward, or whatever has been hidden outward in that sense. I don't know if I'm explaining that very well in what I feel like that is, but maybe you get me, but there's a learning here to maybe let go of some of these, I'm feeling like old outdated things regarding Libra, partnerships, relationships, codependency, those kinds of things. I learned to expand in those Venus-related themes with that letting go and expanding, and I don't know. It's just this whole week is odd, and this quintile here to Black Moon Lilith, where we've been outcast, but it's Venus is here wanting to expand. Like I said, this is fire sign energy. And Venus is an immutable fire sign, and Mars is here in fixed Leo, wanting to express. There's this expression, and then this expansion and release of whatever the fuck is not for us anymore, and expanding into these new ways. And I have Venus highlighted here. Venus is still in trine to Chiron. So this could deal a lot still with that healing aspect as well. too, right? Interestingly, I was just seeing here and being drawn to this quincunx to Uranus, and the next thing I was going to mention that's peaking on this day is Venus quincunx to Uranus. So it could be a frustration here regarding aspects of change. These are changes, pay attention to that we know we need to make. This is in Taurus. Taurus doesn't like fucking change, but Taurus doesn't have a fucking choice with Uranus in its sign, okay? Uranus is like the cattle prod. It's like, you gotta go, let's go, learn to see the value in change and expansion in terms of these Venus-related themes, and whatever that is, and going over these old spaces and old ground, like in that way. Feeling like this could be, I don't know, I felt a very depressive energy today when I was going into this, so I feel like maybe that, I don't know if that relates to this specifically, me doing this weekly astrology reading or whatever, but I feel like that's, I don't know, it's like there's an aspect of healing or wounding or hurt or something. And again, I'm hearing that word sovereignty again coming up in this. I don't know, but then there's this aspect of change, but Uranus is retrograde. There's changes that we know we need to make and to see the value in that. Fuck, I don't know, guys. But there's a quincunx here, so there's something that's frustrating here regarding aspects of change and expansion, what we need to let go of, this Black Moon Lilith energy of, I don't know, but we're learning to let go of things, and this quintile energy, this strong feminine energy behind the scenes, we don't want to feel left out, but or put upon, or just where we've been outcast with that Lilith energy. We want to expand. We're learning to give birth to this letting go process, to expand in these Venus related things, which could be our relationships, material, money things, aspects of value, self-worth, all of that stuff, the Uranus stuff, our uniqueness, our individuality, the shit that we know we need to change and make, and an expansion of that. Holy fuck, Venus is still in opposition to Jupiter and Gemini, and awareness of these things, communication of these things, all of this stuff is still coming up. And with these retrogrades, it's all stuff that we've known it needed to fucking happen. With the quincunx, it can be frustrating though, because sometimes it can feel like well, in this case, I don't really necessarily know. I was going to say it can feel like one or the other, but both of these deal with a kind of expansion and then change. It's kind of dealing with a similar energy, but it feels like it's frustrating because we're like, fuck, we got to deal with this. We got to integrate this in some way. Whatever this change is, whatever we're expanding into, we got to integrate this in some way. And that's just how it is. I don't know. It just feels so fucking weird. This week feels so weird. Okay, let's move on to Friday the 8th. Okay, we have another minor aspect here. We're going to have Venus. So again, this is what I was talking about already. Venus in quintile to Black Moon Lilith. Venus in this expansive Sagittarian energy, wanting to move into positive new directions, and then there's this Black Moon Lilith energy where we feel outcast in terms of our relationships. But again, I feel like this expansion is a good thing, because Venus is ruling over Libra where Black Moon Lilith is, but Venus is here in Sagittarius wanting to expand away from where we've been outcast in terms of other people and relationships. Right? But there's this behind the scenes hidden feminine energy. So this is either we're putting in the work behind the scenes to do something about this or work on this, or there's something happening, or this is really beginning to expand or come into fruition in some way. There's an expansion here of this, whatever the fuck this is behind the scenes, whatever this feminine energy is, to release these aspects of codependency. I feel like there's some stronger energy coming in with Mars in Leo, but this biquintile to Venus, there's behind the scenes stuff. It's like there's still this strong feminine, especially with Black Moon Lilith here. There's still this strong feminine. Venus is in a fire sign of Sagittarius now. There's still this strong feminine. And I'm being drawn to the mutable aspect of Sagittarius, as immutable is like that changeable aspect, and like going with the flow, and with Venus here that's expanding in that changeable part of it. But the other thing, pay attention to this, that other thing is that feminine energy is that going with the flow. It's that changeable energy. It's that going with it, that going with the flow. It's that transformational aspect of Scorpio. It's that Piscean going with the flow, that very like hidden type stuff, that emotionality of Cancer, all that, it's that feminine stuff. And I think what I was trying to get at was that mutable aspect of Pisces. I'm making up new words here, people. Mutable aspect of Pisces. Especially, like I said, with dealing with that mutable energy again, and with Saturn there, like I call it, the dissolution of that malefic energy. There's that changeable aspect. It's like that feminine energy. It's that flowing. It's that change. It's that working with whatever you've got instead of being so fucking stubborn. And interestingly enough, Capricorn and Taurus, that really strong material earthly signs, are also feminine signs. But I feel like this is dealing with that flowing aspect of Venus, that mutable aspect, that changeable part of it, that is really strongly like coming through here and putting in that creative behind the scenes work. I almost feel like this is coming through though in some way. I don't know. I'm getting like mixed. Like this is so like, it could be this, it could be that. Like it's just, the energy is so, it's just so fucking weird. Okay, also on this day, on Friday, we're going to have the first quarter moon, which is going to be the sun in Scorpio square the moon in Aquarius. You want to talk about change and transformation, you can just talk about Scorpio and Aquarius, okay? And that's kind of really what I feel like this is. We had the new moon in Scorpio, we're in this lunar month of transformation, and now the focus here, especially with this moon, is surrounding these aspects of change, right? That's kind of we're focusing on again. With this, the sun is still in quintile to this Pluto in Capricorn. So again, there's this aspect of change surrounding whatever this Pluto in Capricorn, nail in the coffin of the old world type stuff that is coming up here. If you want to know what I mean by nail in the coffin of the old world type stuff, you got to go way back to fucking January to a video I made then where I talked about Pluto ingress into Aquarius and being at the 29 degrees of Capricorn there. All right? So that's kind of really, I don't know what that, but with this quintile, it's that behind the scenes creative feminine type energy, like I said, regarding that transformation. With that sun square the moon here, we're dealing with aspects of change. Whatever change is becoming manifest and coming through here at this time. Okay. And we still have the sun trine Saturn, the dissolution of that malefic energy. This can also feel tough. Right? This can feel tough, whatever this transformation and this change is. Of course, the moon is emotional, but of course, Aquarius is kind of able to kind of separate itself from the emotionality of things. However, this could still be emotional regarding these aspects of change to coming through. But I feel like that's not what it is. I feel like, I don't know. This is just so weird. It's so weird to me. Okay, Friday, change, weird. Whole week fucking weird. Let's move on to Saturday. Saturday the 9th, we're going to have Venus square Neptune. Okay, again, we're dealing with like strong feminine energy here. We're dealing with very Jupiterian energy. Like I said, Jupiter is a traditional ruler of Pisces, right? And with this square, this is very, I don't know, I'm feeling drawn to like the strong feminine aspect as Venus likes being in Pisces too. And with Neptune here, there's like this strong, mutable type of stuff. It's like an expansion. But this is maybe what, behind the scenes hidden types, but it's like, I don't know, that's not it. There's like an expansion. There's like a strong feminine, flowing expansion type of energy surrounding whatever this Venus shit is that has been happening that I've already been talking about with this Libra and Taurus type stuff. Right? I just feel very strongly just an expansion of this Venus type energy. I don't know. I feel like I can't explain any more than that. It's just, when I started talking about free will and stuff earlier and the energetic template and all of that, it's like this energy is so hard to read. It's almost like the creative unknown dealing with this square, this expansiveness and this Pisces energy. It's like the creative unknown. It's like the fog. It's like I don't know. This is very strong creative feminine energy. And I don't know, I'm being drawn to these quintiles now here regarding to this Uranus and then this Mars' North Node conjunct Uranus. bringing into light these aspects of change and stuff that we need to push through and go through here. I don't know, there's just like a strong creative, like, and it could be anything. I'm being drawn to, like, it could be anything with the Uranus type energy. It's like it could be anything out of nowhere. I don't know. Like, it just feels so fucking weird. I like this. Okay. Also on this day, Sun and quintile to Pluto. And like I said, I've already talked about this. Dealing with this behind the scenes transformational stuff. The nail in the coffin to the old world. It's like we're being helped in some way. It's like I talk about this manifestation, but this is something that has been in the works for a very long time, with this behind the scenes type energy coming through and being manifest, and being, whether that comes from source, whether that comes from a co-creating through a group of people, or co-manifesting through a group of people, or through our own higher selves, or whatever. There's something fucking coming through here. And again, I'm feeling drawn back, excuse me, in my mind, I'm burping, pay attention to this, being drawn back in my mind to when I said with Pluto retrograding back into Capricorn that we can't fuck this up. What I feel like part of that is we can't, because there's something working through here. There's something behind the scenes working through here that's coming through seemingly as fate, but it's being manifested in a way, whether I said, like it says, it comes from source, whether it comes from co-creative manifestation of a bunch of people behind the scenes working at whatever the fuck is coming through to transform and change and get rid of this old world fucking bullshit, to put the final nail in the coffin to fucking move forward. That's what I feel like this is. Whatever the fuck this is, whatever this creative feminine energy is, whatever this manifestation stuff is, whatever the fuck is coming through, has been wanting to come through for like a very long time. I don't know. I can't get away from that. It's so weird that, and it's transformation, change, transformation, change, manifestation. It's just what's coming through. I can't separate myself from that. Okay, that's just what I feel is strongly coming through. Okay, that's Saturday. That's the 9th. That's it. That's it, guys. That's it for this week. I'm done. So it just feels weird. I feel like I kind of summed it up in what I just said at the end of the Saturday video there as to what all of this is. So yeah. All right. I don't know what this week is going to turn out, how it's going to turn out for most people, what it's going to be. It feels like it's all up in the air at this point. But yeah. Try and have a great week, everybody. If you made it this far in the video, you can feel free to put a purple heart in the comments below. I always say that. Put a purple heart in the comments if you've made it this far, so that I know you're a real one. Thank you all for watching. It feels like it might be a weird one, but try to have a great week. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.